Alright, we're officially live. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Pompaliwood kind of live stream. This time we're not doing a podcast per se, but we're doing something a bit different. I'm Kevin, and with me I've got Luke. Hello Luke.
Yo, hello.
That's Luke's voice, and we've got Maddie.
No, it's not.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, and today we're going to be talking about, as the title would suggest, ranking the MCU films. Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's really it for me.
Feel free to let us-
we want to try something new.
Yeah. Feel free to also let us know in the comments how you would rank the films as well. We're interested about your guys' opinions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and also another thing that I want to talk about just before we get into ranking these films is that we've got a Discord server. It's called Imperium Films at the moment. You know, it's a temporary thing. I don't know if we'll keep it like that. I mean, some people said it was a cool name, so we'll probably keep it that. But it's just kind of temporary for now. And on our Discord, we've got a meme channel, so you can mess around with the dank memer, pull out some memes. You've got a Pokemon channel with the Pokecord bot, which will allow you to catch Pokemon, and you can gamble. Not that I.
We also got a music channel.
I'm promoting. Yeah. We've got a music channel.
Yeah,
but I'm not promoting gambling. I'm not promoting gambling, but if you're good at it, you might want to try it.
Also, we have this very interesting new chat. It's not really that new, but it's called Mistress Misty. If you want to find out what that is.
Oh gosh.
It's just
blame Tyler.
It's not safe.
We worship the goddess Misty from Pokemon.
Just saying that.
Alright, so anyway, should we make a start?
Not safe.
Yep, let's make a start.
Cool.
What is the first film, Kevin?
Okay, so the first film we have here on our left is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, guys, we're not doing these in any certain order, not chronologically or the date of the release. We're just kind of doing them left to right down this list, because it could get a bit confusing if we do that. So anyway, we're starting with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So, first of all...
Where do you want to start this?
Yeah, wait. Have we seen all the films that are on here, by the way?
Yeah,
the only one I haven't watched is the Hulk.
Alright, okay. That's
like the Incredible Hulk. Yeah.
Anyway, so Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy. What have we got?
I don't know, Matthew. You know, you've got some pretty strong opinions.
Yeah. I went to see that when it came out, and I must say that after seeing the first film, it kind of felt like a bit of a rehashing, you know, where there's like tension between the group, and then all of a sudden they got to reconnect and all that. They added a few new characters like Mantis, and the scenes between her and Drax I felt were a comedy gold. Also, Drax in this one is significantly funnier. He makes genitalia jokes and all that. He becomes pretty much prepubescent teenager making jokes about you, wee wee. It also introduces we get a bit more background into who Star-Lord's dad is, him being half celestial and all that, and how his dad's a planet who impregnates a whole bunch of chicks, and then also
how does that work?
How does what work?
Well,
is it just like a mushroom and spreads his seed?
Pretty complicated.
And pretty
just a mushroom,
and
you just expel some fumes.
We also see a bit more of a father-son connection between Star-Lord and Yondu, which I felt was a bit of a nice touch. I liked all the 80s references.
Yeah.
No, don't give me that Yondu thing, man.
Yeah.
But in terms of like...
I almost cried. Not gonna lie.
In terms of storyline, I kind of see it as a bit of a rehashing of the first one, with a few added twists and turns and all.
Yeah, no, it's a fine sequel. I think they added a lot more than they really took away from the first one, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Chris Pratt and Star-Lord, obviously.
Yeah.
Very likable. Like, you can watch most of the movie with him and kind of just find him, like, kind of endearing in a way, the way he acts and everything like that. That's
have you seen Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
you're talking about where we'd rank it, though. Because obviously we've got nothing on the rankings yet, so like, where do we want to put it?
Should we start off?
It's kind of hard to tell.
We should start off with just giving it a rough rating, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I mean, I want to put it like an A.
Yeah, I would
like
7.5.
I'd say it's like a mid A, like a low A.
Considering we're also ranking the other ones using the same metric, I would give it a 7.5.
So an A.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much an A, I think, if we do my
Yeah.
quick math.
Guys, let us
Right.
know in the chat as well if
Yeah.
you disagree or agree.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our list, but we're still open to like getting our minds changed. So I'll put this under. What do you think for now, guys? Maybe B for now? Maybe
Yeah,
not B.
B
C.
probably.
Okay, C.
Thinking a B.
B. Okay, it's
Yeah.
on B.
All right.
So just update your ones, guys, as well. Okay, cool.
Alright.
We'll move swiftly
Yeah.
along.
Moving on to Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Homecoming.
Oh boy,
I love
this
that
one.
movie.
All right, so a bit of background. Yes, everyone remembers the Tobey Maguire films from 02 to 07. Everyone sadly remembers the Garfield films from the bloody 12 to
Not
14.
quite sadly.
I didn't mind. All right, here's an unpopular opinion. I didn't mind Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I just felt like it could have been a bit easier if you put them into a two-parter.
Yeah, I liked Spider-Man 3. I thought it was cool, but it didn't it was too much like action going on. You didn't really know what was happening. There's just like villain here, villain there, villain everywhere.
From what I remember, though,
She's coming for you, and you too.
I kind of felt like with
The end of this movie is due.
I felt like in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, they could have built up the Green Goblin. But regardless, the reason it took so long for Spider-Man to hop into the MCU was during like the mid-90s, early 2000s, Marvel near bankruptcy, they decided to sell the film rights to their most popular characters. At that time, it was Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and X-Men. Obviously, Fox went and got Fantastic Four and X-Men, and Spider-Man went
Sony,
to
Columbia.
Sony. And then in around 2015, news was released that Sony and Marvel have come to an agreement. A temporary agreement when it comes to the rights of Spider-Man and a few of those characters. So,
Yeah, to be fair, I think we're veering off track a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good to talk about as well when it comes to these films, like the more technical side of them. But as for like, talk briefly about one
How we'd
plot
rank
point that I really liked.
Yeah.
Spider-Man dating, obviously the person he wasn't supposed to be dating in that car scene, if you remember that. That was quite,
yes.
it was tension well done, I think, for the film. It was stuff like that I remember from. It had more than action, I suppose. They really did the story element of the film quite well. Like you would have thought that with two adaptations already, most of that would be quite like juiced up by now. We'd just be seeing most of the same stuff again. But it really did something such as with that scene that we haven't actually seen before. So that's good. Good on.
Also,
And also, Tom Holland. Yeah, Tom Holland is more well-rounded. Like Tobey Maguire was like, Tobey Maguire. He was a good Peter Parker, but I feel like he was kind of a bad Spider-Man.
Yeah, Andrew.
Because he was such a goof, and just like, I mean, Spider-Man is goofy, but like he was just. It seemed wrong to see him as Spider-Man.
And I like Tom
And
Holland
then Andrew Garfield was the opposite.
I heard as well for his audition for Tom Holland. They really liked him, the people who were casting, because he had he gave Spider-Man more of like an innocence and like a boyhood that they didn't quite see.
Yeah. That was the thing.
Yeah, and also because the other actors were older.
Tobey Maguire was like in his 20s or 30s when he played Webhead, and I think Garfield was like in his 20s. Tom Holland, when he was cast, he was actually like...
He was like 18, I want to say.
Yeah, he was 18, which is perfect because, Spider-Man's all about high school. Anyway, I thought the casting was spot on. He's the perfect Peter Parker and Spider-Man, I imagine. Since I actually read the comics a lot, I imagine him when I think of that. And the same with Vulture. I think casting my Batman, Michael Keaton, was actually a brilliant... When I think of Agent Toombs, I do think of a old man with this slight, complex of wanting to take over and stuff. And the storyline between Spider-Man and Iron Man was just brilliant. And I quite like the end scene.
I also like how the villain actually had a motive.
Yeah, the motive actually...
Whereas in the other Spider-Man movies, didn't really have, like... In terms of the first, Spider-Man, like 2002 one and the Amazing Spider-Man, I feel like the villains weren't really that good.
No,
they didn't really have a solid reason. Yeah.
But this one,
like the Green Goblin, he was just some crazy dude,
Yeah, just for the sake of being crazy. This one, it's a bit more. You can sympathize more with. You can see the character, the father kind of character in him a bit more than the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually what a lot more Marvel movies are doing these days. Like if you look
And you
back
don't have to
at the
see
older
Uncle Ben
ones.
die again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which has been redone so many times. Let
times,
the
yeah.
man rest.
No, they made a lot of good decisions.
just
anyway.
just
Okay,
let him die. Stop
should we
bringing him back
rate
to
now?
life.
Hey.
Yeah, I'd put it as an A.
I would go 8. Yeah.
Kevin,
Remember,
why is yours?
Huh?
Why does yours go as SCBAD?
SCBAD. Oh, so it does. Sorry.
Bruh.
Technically. I don't know. I must have pressed something before that. But anyway, that doesn't change.
Yeah,
where,
just you should be able to type in it. Just
Yeah.
change it around.
No, that's fine. This is DCBAS now. Okay, that's fine. Okay, anyway, I would give it an 8.5. Remember, you can do decimals, guys, if you so wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give it like an 8.
I would go.
I'd put an A. I'd put an A.
Are we all in agreement, Matthew?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Remember, guys, these are just our opinions. Some of us have seen this film, but haven't rewatched it for quite some time. So anyway,
Yeah.
our opinions. Okay, next one. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp. What do you think of that film?
Proving that size doesn't matter.
Honestly, unpopular opinion. It's not as bad as people say it is.
No, I think it does.
Yeah,
what
I
it
actually
sets out to
like
do.
the Ant-Man films. I felt like because Ant-Man as a character, you don't get that humor side to him, especially because the majority of the time he is, of course, portrayed by Hank Pym in the comics. But I feel like Scott Lang as Ant-Man is hugely underrated, both in comics and as a character. So to see him in film is like refreshing and breathes new life into the character.
I think it does as well.
Yeah.
And him in the context of all the other superheroes in the massive Marvel universe by the time the film came out. I didn't find him like kind of paling in comparison with the rest of them. He held his character up very well, I think, as Ant-Man. And can we quickly talk about when the film was like released? I think it was released at I'm not sure which films preceded it and like followed it, but it was released at a time when there was a lot of like kind of dark tension in the Marvel cinematic
Yeah, the
universe.
thing is, the reason is they were both
I think it was
released
after Black
Avengers
Panther.
films.
Yeah.
They were both released after Avengers films. Ant-Man was released after
Infinity
Ant-Man and
War.
the Wasp was
Yeah.
released after.
So yeah, exactly. That's why I brought it up because it's a bit of a lighter movie. So I think for what it needed to be, it did exactly that. So props to that movie as well.
Yeah, though then again, I would say it's definitely one of the worst Marvel movies. But
Just by itself,
like, I just think that it gets a lot of hate, like that when it doesn't really deserve that much hate.
Yeah, for the fact that they even put it like a PG rating. I mean, come on, they got to try reach out to a younger audience as well with that type of.
I think it's just like generally it's more marketable the lower the rating anyway. So if they could make it PG, then just make it PG. Yeah. Or it
Not to mention, Ant-Man's one of the more lighthearted films, unlike the comics, and we'll get into that another discussion another day. But where would you guys?
If I ever get around to reading the comics.
Yeah.
So we might as well do both Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man. Kill two birds with one stone. So where would you put them?
Oh yeah, they're pretty close together anyway.
Yeah, where would you put them?
Ant-Man. What do we think of that?
Yeah, I'd say I'd put the first Ant-Man at a B.
Yeah, because it's because it also does.
It's a good introduction to the character. It's like, and the villain as well. He's not a good villain, but he's not like bad. He's just kind of average.
Yeah, I really like the humor in the first one as well as the second one.
The humor in the first one, especially those scenes with Luis just like recounting them.
Yeah, very creative.
About, yes, can this guy please narrate my life instead of Morgan?
He'd make my life so much more interesting if he narrated instead of just me living it up, to be honest.
Yeah, so this is what happened, eh?
Oh, and the perfect those scenes were really good. I'm glad they did that twice because they saw that this type of this kind of explanation, the way of doing it is actually quite entertaining. So just do it twice.
Yeah. And he said yes.
It's a very self-aware. It knows when it's overstepping. It knows when it's not being too funny. When it has that.
Yeah. But the thing that I like is that it actually it follows up on that joke by it wasn't actually related to Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like in the end, it was Hank Pym, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
because he wanted him to break into the thing.
Why no? It was.
Or was it? No, I'm getting confused. It's been too long since I've watched the film.
Yeah. It was Sam Wilson who did it because he had that interaction with Scott on the top. That was absolutely funny.
Top notch. good comedy, good writing in general. You can expect that all the
Yeah.
time from Marvel movies anyway.
Should we do that same
Yeah.
rank?
Also,
for
the
Ant-Man
soundtrack.
and-
Hold up, the Ant-Man soundtrack, like the theme.
Yes,
That's pretty good.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
the
Pretty good.
quite
soundtrack.
remarkable as well. So shall I put both
Now-
the first and second as B movies?
I mean, I put
Yeah.
the second one at C max, but
Ah yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be a bit more forgiving. Yeah, no, C.
because when we're actually comparing it to other Marvel movies,
Yeah.
It doesn't stand well on its own, but with other Marvel movies, it kind of fades into the background. But I like the fact that they actually expanded the story a little bit.
Yeah, it has those merits as well. Oh gosh, looking at D, like tier D right now, I can think of at least one movie that I'm sure will agree with me. That,
Oh boy, I'm thinking of
no,
a
wait,
couple
wait,
right now,
that's
and
a spoiler, bro. You can't
yeah, let's not
give
say
any
but,
hints.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
I'm going
on
to
the
shit on
most
that movie.
underrated Avengers film of all time.
Yeah,
in my
it
opinion,
is. It is
Age of
underrated.
I
Wait, so
love
where did we put
that
Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Oh, sorry. That was C.
one.
And then Ant-Man at B.
B. Yeah. Okay.
Now for the most
Okay.
underrated Avengers film of all time. All right, I actually liked.
I mean,
James
there are only
Spader.
4.
I like James Spader as Bloody Ultron, all right? I felt like, because he previously appeared in the Blacklist and all that, I felt like he was a good Ultron in
Yeah,
terms
he had
of
great like kind of inflection as Ultron, like kind of a menacing.
especially considering the fact that he had to do both motion capture and the voice. And I felt
Oh,
the
did
voice,
he?
the way they did it was...
No,
I
the
also
animation
felt like
for him was
they-
quite lifelike, so I was wondering about that actually. It was good.
Yeah.
And they continued to like expand it a bit more. We have the first dimension of Wakanda. We have a few, little inklings into Infinity War and Civil War, because we have those little cracks just like inserted there, and we see like more dynamics between the team and like the tensions rising, setting up for the Captain America film. I just thought was bloody.
Personally, really like just a small thing, the scene where they're talking about Wakanda, and then I think Banner, who's got how many PhDs does he have in law? Like I don't know.
He doesn't
at
have a
least
PhD in law. He has a PhD.
I mean, not law.
PhDs in
Law
something.
as in like LORE, like in the comics, he has quite a few, doesn't he? Or does it say in the film?
Yeah, I think he has like one or two of
Anyway, Banner, who has all those PhDs, he pronounces it as Wakanda.
Wakanada.
That was really good.
Yeah, also, just Ultron's design.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good. He did his job as a villain because he was like quite hulking and big, and very intimidating.
Also,
Imagine if you saw that thing in real life, man.
I really like the scene.
I just
quickly
accept
touching
my
on Ultron,
demise.
I like that scene where he assimilates Jarvis, and he like it's a really good
yeah, that was intense.
depiction of AI.
I remember
Yes.
seeing that the moment it came out here in New Zealand. I was just like, oh,
Quite good,
crap,
wasn't it?
AIs are doing.
I don't even remember if I saw it in cinemas.
Oh, where else did you see it? Pirated?
Well, nah.
Nah.
Just like buying discs.
Yeah.
Or at least my mum had this friend that had all the discs.
Oh, yeah. We had all those perks.
I got the disc after it came out, so
Yeah,
I love that film.
Also, in Age of Ultron, I think it really highlighted all the Avengers films do this, obviously. But it highlighted their relationships a bit more, especially that one scene where they're trying to pick up Thor's hammer. Really good foreshadowing. Really good. Good bit of humor in that scene as well. Like they find all these ways to keep the story moving, but at the same time accomplish other things like highlighting.
Also, like the scenes on Hawkeye's farm, I felt like that was like a bit of an bit in the film that no one actually considered, because I look at that looking back from a perspective when it relates to all the MCU films, thinking, oh crap, this is love story started that will continue on. This is the moment where Civil War begins to, and yeah,
I think it was a good choice of location because a farm is pretty tranquil, and they needed to like lay low for a while.
and then you bring all this like conflict in here, and there's like it's like something that's never really been done in that kind of way. And I did it brilliantly.
Yeah, it's been done well. It's been done before as well. I mean, like a lot of films have that low time where the audience needs to breathe a bit, but it was done really well in this film.
Yeah.
Even the bit with all the heroes are like kind of celebrating at that party because they're actually they're pretty much the celebrities,
Yeah.
Yep.
like it's not weird or odd for them to all be partying together.
Yeah.
No. Why is that?
So,
gotten,
boys, where are we going to rank this?
yeah.
No, I just think it was a nice touch. I'd say it'd be a high B, but
I
or
would
maybe
go
maybe a mid B.
pretty confidently.
I mean, Matthew, what do you think? Tiebreaker.
Low A, high B.
Yeah. Should I go?
Okay,
I'm
let's
kind of
just-
tipping
let's just
scale.
put it-
Should I go A?
Yeah,
can
if you want,
discuss
just
it
put it in.
later
on.
Just put it A.
Okay.
Put it
Yeah, because it's
behind
important.
Put it behind Homecoming because
Okay.
Homecoming was better.
Behind meaning like to the right of or left?
Yeah, to the right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about like the fighting in the film and all the like the main battle groups and stuff. So I
Oh
think
my
we
God.
should
Yeah,
say that
to be
one.
honest, I didn't like Quicksilver's design.
Yeah, Quicksilver.
He was just he was so
No,
ordinary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the cons. Of
Scarlet Witch, okay. Quicksilver was just like
That was
it's like you got
because-
this super ordinary guy that was just looked so boring and plopped him in a suit.
That was because Quicksilver was done in the X-Men films. Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but he looked so good in the X-Men films.
Yeah, because he had that.
But anyway,
awesome-
that's a story for another day. You know,
Yeah.
we might rank
Moving
the
on.
X-Men films.
Moving on to the film that gave us the ultimate memes.
Can we? Should
Oh
we
my.
just for now? Because we're gonna have much mediocre later on. Know what I mean?
I mean, let's be honest. Infinity War was probably like high A, low S. Actually, I'd say Infinity War was probably better than Endgame.
I mean, we can go ahead and rank it now. We'll be talking about
I kind of see both Endgame and Infinity War as like one film because it's like a two-parter. I kind of see it
Yeah.
as like one story.
as a narrative as well.
Yeah, it's two films, one story. But then again, you could say that the whole universe is one story.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, they both tried to do different. Like, what I mean is, Infinity War was more of like a get the action going, like build up more suspense, and then kind of.
And then they lose.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
They
They both
lose.
ended very differently, obviously.
I was sitting there in the cinema watching, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I know,
remember
that
it
was
took me
such a
so
jaw
long
drop
to
moment
watch
for me.
Infinity War. I missed Infinity War at the theaters. I didn't have the money,
Oh my God.
so like it took me ages to see it, like months. I'm talking almost a year.
Yeah. And then we were kind
I
of
was
teasing
like,
about it as well. We were like,
"Holy crap."
Yeah, and then I got it was so hard to not get any spoilers, and then people actually
Yep.
did spoil it. They literally went up to me and spoiled it.
that's
Just for ruining my
I wasn't
bloody
one of those.
experience.
I spoil a lot of things, but I don't think I would do that.
And I
Also,
remember
quick
when
fact,
I eventually watched it, I was like, "Bruh, are you really gonna dick my T'Challa like this?"
Also, quick
Like,
fact,
Black Panther's
that
my favourite
entire
superhero.
I don't want to go scene that I don't want to go scene between RDJ and Tom Holland. That was completely improvised. They just let the cameras roll while
Which one?
that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene where Spider-Man was going, where he died.
I don't want to go.
Yeah.
don't wanna
I
go.
also
Yeah,
another
that
scene
was improvised.
was just that bit of you know when Jack says why is Gamora? I think why. That was
Yeah,
improvised as
that
well.
one was funny.
I wonder how many
I felt
improvised
like-
lines there are.
I
Quite a
felt
few.
like Infinity War. You can't judge that without Endgame. It's like a yin and yang
Yeah.
situation.
Nah, definitely. Let's talk about
'Cause
how
it's like-
Well, actually, I mean, Infinity War left like a very hype moment,
Yeah,
very
so
like,
it just made it
it was
seem
like
better.
it's like one of those old Shakespearean plays. You have the first act where, like, you know, it
Oh
is-
yeah, I would say that.
the
as well.
characters meet each other, and then the second act, that's where, you know, the heroes are now doomed. It's the
now-
demise. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU.
Really good. I feel like we haven't really talked specifically about stuff in Infinity War. We've kind of been talking about the overarching relationship they have with each other.
I like the fact that it picked up like 2 years after Civil War, where, you know, we have the fallout after the Sokovia Accord. Where, you know, Cap is a fugitive of those who he was with. So like Falcon and Black Widow who were defected. We have Iron Man dealing that
Oh, yeah.
fallout as well.
Well, that's
We-
another point for Endgame. I feel like the passage of time was very like you could feel it quite easily
Yeah.
because all the characters had undergone huge changes, definitely, and just a general change of tone as well. They went to more like kind of grayish, sullen colors to show like the hopelessness of it all.
Yeah, I quite like the scenes with. Well, the first opening scene with Thanos, you instantly know, all right, this is the guy we at the end of at the mid of the credits during the first Avengers film. This is finally the big bad moment.
Yep.
We see him in that Asgardian ship with the bodies on the and you just have to think, holy cow, this guy is one of the biggest face. Because keep in mind, Avengers 1 is directly linked because Thanos commanded that whole thing.
He was there since the beginning. Yeah.
And the
one
moment,
thing
the moment when the Hulk got scared.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah. The
Really
fact
good.
that he wouldn't come out the entire time was like, oh no.
Yep, I could talk ages about Thanos being a great villain. Also because look at how differently he's portrayed in different scenes. Like you got that Asgardian scene where he's just like an absolute monster, you know. And you've got the simpler scenes like in the beginning of Endgame where he's just like a simple farmer, you know. He has these different kind of personas, like what do you call it? Like kind of personalities because
different sides to a villain.
He's a very he's because he's very motivated. Like he'll do anything to accomplish his goal, and that includes him you know, kind of
killing his
like
own daughter
at times. Yeah, very complex.
He's a simple man.
Yeah.
He wants to save the universe.
He would sacrifice anything.
But he's just doing it the wrong way.
Yeah. Okay. We've kind of been talking about both Endgame and Infinity War, like in unison. And that's fine, I suppose. Like,
because it's essentially one story. Because also with Endgame, the fact it picks up like 5 years down, this stuff has happened. We have changed. We see that now our heroes are doing it again, but this time they've got more to lose.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
As Cap said, I hope it. I'm really gonna misquote this, but he says, "I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't." If it doesn't work, I mean, it kind of sums up what the situation was at the start of it. Like nowhere to go but forward. You know, you can't really look back. Just do everything you can.
And holy crap, the fight scenes were incredible. You got to admit, while you're looking at it, you think this whole entire thing is happening. There's all this action, but at the same time, it's weaved in a way that it doesn't overcomplicate, over-exhaust the viewer. It's like perfectly.
Yeah, to be honest, the only thing I didn't like in the final battle was you know who. I'm not gonna say their name. No, I'm keeping it a surprise, but like
I went to see that with Damo and Anthony, and the moment she appeared on screen, Anthony was like, "Oh nah, F this." And
okay, we're basically giving it away. Like, who else are we talking about?
We'll save this for later.
Nah, Anthony watched that film with me in the theater, like not Endgame, but you know who's and bro, we both came out, and I was like, bro and Matthew, you're the one that said it was a good movie. So we had our hopes up.
Okay, wait. Can I just bring up one thing? I think we might be moving on from the two Avengers films. I
would put those at an S ranking. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
like those two films, especially the fact that Avengers Endgame is now officially the highest grossing film of all time. I feel like both of those. I feel like both of those are perfect, apart from a few things here and there. I would put it at S ranking.
I'll also add that the fight scene that I really
angry that
in Avengers Infinity War was Stark versus Thanos. What a great closing!
And then they have that final confrontation in Endgame, and then I just remember the moment that Stark has the Infinity Stones. I'm thinking, crap. Didn't expect Tony to die in this.
Yeah. I agree. I really appreciate the smaller fight scenes they had. Just like kind of the 1-on-1 or like the 2v1s, you know.
Yeah.
The grand ones were really well done. Obviously, like in Endgame.
And that one, and you've got to admit, the thing that stole the show in Endgame was Cap wielding Thor's hammer.
Yeah, the 1v1 right there. See, like they can be just as good as the bigger scale fights.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't like Thor being obese, but you know, like.
I found that funny, just given the fact.
Yeah, I found it funny. It's just that I'd gotten so used to him being a badass that
the fact that Chris
he just seemed kind of underwhelming.
Made it all. Well, like Goofy, it kind of takes away from his 3 movies of building his character up.
Yeah.
All right, where should I put Infinity War? Because
S.
Put both of them in S, but put Infinity War ahead of Endgame.
Yeah.
I still think Infinity War is slightly better than Endgame.
Slightly better, but it's like one.
But that's mostly because it didn't have a proper conclusion. Like, you know, Endgame.
I found it quite sweet.
Infinity War and Endgame.
No, I mean like talking about how Infinity War just like it was like it carried on. So I think that Infinity War is better, but that's mainly because it didn't have a proper ending.
Yeah.
They both got mammoth runtimes.
Because it could have been a lot different, if it wasn't split into two parts. So.
But also the way they ended both, the storylines of, Iron Man and Captain America, because we've seen those characters built over pretty much 10 years, and then the way it ends, you just think that you it's like a bittersweet moment because you're saying goodbye to those characters that you've essentially got. Anyway,
I still think that Bucky should have got Captain America. But...
Yeah, I was a bit confused. Like, well, which one is closer to Cap anyway? But yes, my favorite MCU film. Okay, anyway,
we're about to hand it over to Luke. He's going to be here for a long while.
Yeah. Okay. So, Luke, we'll give you the mic. What
Black Panther. I mean, I'm biased towards Black Panther because I waited for the movie for about 6 years.
Yeah,
but it was just so cool. Like the whole environment of Wakanda. It was just like, and just the fact that it was just a normal African village to the rest of the world, or like African country, But then inside there's just like this huge like royal city kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was just all bountiful, and they had all this technology. And it was just the fact that Wakanda had been built up for ever since Age of Ultron,
Yeah.
And we were getting...
But it was one of the things where you didn't have you had no idea what it was until the end of Civil War.
Yeah.
When they showed the Panther.
Yeah.
Bas, is that its name?
Yeah, Bas.
Yeah, no, but then again, I still wouldn't... Black Panther, I'd put probably high A tier.
Yeah.
Just because even though Killmonger was an amazing villain, but...
Yeah, he's on Loki level. I remember when seeing Avengers, I thought Loki was larger than this big threat, and especially, because the best villains are those closely associated with the hero. That's why Loki was so great. He was Thor's brother.
And he literally was. Yeah, you can compare it to the plot of Lion King.
And with Killmonger, I felt like as a villain, he was relatable. He felt like he was an outcast from his people. He was shunned away from society. He had this dark feeling about him because he felt alone and abandoned. And I felt like the audience would connect to that more on the pure basis that it's just pure human emotion.
Yeah, and he was in one of the scenes that I find to be one of the most tear-jerking in all of MCU, was that when he was talking with his dad, and he kind of he's a kid, obviously, because that's that's how it was. And he's like, no tears for me, my son. And he's all cold and stuff because he has.
Everyone does.
Feels like he has his persona to uphold. He has no room for attachments or anything like that. Because I think if he addresses what his father meant to him, he's kind of also giving way to address what T'Challa meant to him as well as his brother. He's kind of shoving away all that family stuff, trying to get to what his goal was.
Yeah, and especially the fact in that second act of the film where, they had that confrontation. Killmonger had T'Challa, and I felt like Michael B. Jordan, all right, we already knew he had mild superhero acting chops in that whole 2015 Fantastic Four, which is, again, a story today. But we already had that physicality as Creed and the Rocky Balboa.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So we knew that the fact we would see him in fight scenes was all right, we know this guy has this kind of background of physical roles involving physicality, which is quite cool.
He does his own stunts as well. He probably does all the scenes.
And Kevin, you might agree with me on this. The soundtrack was incredible.
Dope. I'm not a fan of Kendrick Lamar, but dang, his feature track on there.
Dude,
bro, Black Panther has the best soundtrack in the entire MCU. Fight me.
He introduced me to Vince Staples, the trailer at least. Really good.
Yeah, just saying. If you think that there's MCU, actually no, Guardians of the Galaxy has a better soundtrack than Black Panther. Yeah. But Black Panther's number 2.
Yeah, no, but the thing about the Black Panther soundtrack is some of the songs were made for Black Panther. That's pretty.
Yes, and especially and even the orchestral film soundtrack.
Oh,
the fact that
it was
you get this African tribe feel that really fits in with the movie.
And percussion.
And the guy who also composed that, he did the stuff for the Mandalorian and more these days you see guys like Junkie Excel and all that. Ludwig von Vorsing or whatever.
Oh wait, is he? I don't know. Is he Childish Gambino's producer? Because
I think he might be.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows?
He's a great sound designer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but you see more and more composers these days, they're going less with the orchestral thing. They're going more with the bit of the industrial techno kind of feel as well as the classic orchestral, which is what I love about modern cinema, film, orchestral music these days. Is like that blend is almost perfect.
Really good, yeah,
In fact, it's like it was not only made for that film, but you could also tell it reflects on the environment, it reflects on the characters, it reflects on the culture, which is important considering that area.
Yeah, because Wakanda is like really a technologically advanced kind of nation, but you know it's still got the culture mixed into it. So that the soundtrack does reflect that as well, with the synths and the orchestrals.
Yeah, which stays true to the whole entire, not only the lore of Black Panther in the film, but in the comics as well. You go back and you look, and especially in the beginning scene where they're telling the story on how first Black Panther was created and how the Earth was formed. All that you get like this, because that is like stories you would hear in the African tribal village, like once a month in front of.
Yeah, no, it was authentic, wasn't it? A lot of the elements of the film it felt like it would be part of a culture like that.
Yeah, also just the cinematography was
cinematography.
You know that one shot where Killmonger, he's walking to the throne after he defeats T'Challa and the camera's just spinning around him, bro. That's art right there. That's 10 out of 10 shot.
Especially with the metaphoric look of
and also with the music.
Down.
Yeah.
And also with the music, because it was like showing that the world was going to become distorted, It was also just like, even the music was like really badass, but still like kind of, and also because I think the music, I don't exactly remember, but I think was slightly more Americanized, like during that one shot. So that's because obviously, because he grew up in America.
Yeah. No, that I noticed as well. Really good. It was greatly directed. Because who directed Black Panther?
Ryan Coogler.
Yeah, really clear.
Funny fact, also did Creed for those who know.
Yeah. Should we talk about Thor?
Hang on, where are we going to put Black Panther? Oh
okay,
wait,
right. We can. I would no doubt put it on the list.
I mean, I'd probably put it at A just because some bits of the plot were like kind of predictable.
Yeah, that's one reason. I'm trying to think of more reasons why it shouldn't be on S. Like, to be honest, that might be the only legit one that I can think of.
Just saying, I quite like that line that Shuri said when they brought in the CIA guy. Oh, great, you bought me another white boy for me to fix.
A bit of casual racism. that's fun.
Yeah, try these on. I call them sneakers.
What are those?
What are those? Yeah,
it was like a year or two too late, but it was still gold.
It was good. It was,
just like something like still that. Golden. Anyway, moving on to
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Okay, cool.
I'd put Black Panther at top of A, but like,
okay,
I'd say it's better than Spider-Man: Homecoming.
All right.
Okay. Oh, by the way,
Captain America: The First Avenger.
Wait. What order should I have done Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Ant-Man in? Is Ant-Man a bit better?
Yeah. No. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is better.
What about Infinity War and Endgame? Have we decided?
Put Infinity War ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway, Captain America: The First Avenger. I'm not gonna lie. This one I felt was because Cap is, of course, 1940s, World War II. A little thing that I liked, and I don't think you guys would have noticed this, was the way they shot it. The camera made it seem a bit older, right, or something. Well, it looked like an old memory, so you have like a bit like this kind of filter or whatever, where it's a bit more grey, a bit more dull, which is something I quite liked. I found that to be a little.
Was that for the whole of the 1940s bit?
The whole 1940s bit, and then
I remember for a certain kind of montage bit they had that.
I didn't pick that up, but yeah, dang, I think I would have noticed as well.
Yeah, I quite liked it because the moment it switched to the 2010 or 11 waking up scene, I instantly recognized that something was different.
Oh, that's
where
good.
it's like
Yeah.
It
more
looked more
colorful.
colorful.
And
But then
also,
that could have just been because he was in a more colorful environment, but I'm not sure.
Just
and
in
the
general,
fact that
the
unlike
whole,
the 1990 Captain America film, this is actually a perfect Captain America suit because you don't have to glue the damn ears on. I like the nod.
Yeah,
that
honestly, the first Captain America is underrated.
yeah.
Like the first
Captain
Avenger,
America-
yeah.
Like as a
First
story,
Avenger
it's pretty
definitely underrated.
okay. Yeah.
Especially the chemistry he has with like Bucky and Peggy, and like and the enemy of the Red Skull. I feel like Red Skull's an underrated. To be honest.
Yeah.
Well, Hugo
I mean,
Weaving's portrayal
he's
of him.
normal. He's pretty much normal.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's a Nazi who believes in space magic.
Hugo Weaving's
Yeah,
really
well-
talented. He can do
Well,
any
no,
type
I mean,
of
like,
accent
in terms of
really well.
powers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially the
think-
fact that when we
Did he-
get introduced to him, we know that he's the bad guy because he's ruthless and he's blooded and he's hell bent on having unattainable power
Yeah.
that is not for
Totally not the reason that he's a
forces.
Nazi.
And also, like, I don't know, Luke, I don't know if you got this, but there's like this cheeky little Easter egg in the film where Arnim Zola's head is as big as it is in the comics when he's like in that robotic suit. And I saw that now. And just,
Oh,
like,
what you mean how his head was, like, big?
Yes, when his head was bigger.
Yeah, nah, I noticed that.
But yeah, I just gave myself a little chuckle for that because it was like very cool. I also like the fact that it stayed true to the comic in terms of I think that the bit with Howard Stark added a bit of a nice touch. Felt that was
Kind of
quite
a bit of a tie-in because of MCU was still pretty young then. They needed that kind of bridge between the two.
and also keep in mind this was before Disney bought it. This was still when the films were being done by Paramount. The guys owned by Viacom also happened to own Nickelodeon and then Disney.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't understand a word of that.
Oh, sorry. No, it was something on the internet. Okay, anyway, sorry. Back into it. We're fine. Wait, are we fine?
Yeah, what I also liked about it was they gave a cheeky little nod to Captain America's debut issue where, on the front cover, you see him, shield in hand, giving Hitler a right hook in the face. The fact that they did that on, like, the face show, I felt was quite a nice touch. And then I felt like the suit they used for too. I'm not going to lie, they could have done it in a bit of a more cheeky way, like in the first Avengers film, but then again, it was more fitting for the World War II, which I quite liked.
Honestly, I'd put Captain America, the first Avenger, in S.
Would you put it in
You know
S?
what?
Yeah, I'd put it in S.
I would
You know
go
what? I'm actually.
between A
It'd
and
be
B for me.
lowest.
It wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. What do you think, Matt?
In terms of
Like everything.
how important it is to the MCU, the fact that we get introduced to the Tesseract and how come. I agree with Luke. I think it should be.
S. Okay, I'll give
I
it
think
some
just
leniency.
all rounded, pretty much everything is like pretty darn good. So
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
even
I can
for
get on
a
with that.
Marvel movie.
Yeah, I'll give it some leniency because it's been a couple of years now since I've actually seen it. My couple of details might have slipped my mind.
I own the film. I saw it recently. I fell in love the same way I fell in love when I was 10 years.
I didn't get that.
And now we're moving on to Winter Soldier. Okay, I thought this one. Everyone says that Winter Soldier was like pretty good, and I understand
It's
that.
overrated.
It's overrated, but at the same time, I was getting like 90s Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan films from it, like the sense of like Clear and Present Danger, where it was like this, political thriller where turns out Shield's actually Hydra. There are a few plot holes there
Yeah, a lot of
there that I felt all right.
I would probably
felt
say
like
it's the
that-
most politics heavy, apart from
that
maybe
scene on the
Iron Man.
That whole story thing on the boat I felt was cool, and then the final scene I felt like, not feeling it.
Not feeling it
Because it leaves in a way that it's like, ugh.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's still good. It's not as good. I wouldn't put it like. I don't like it as much as other people do.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I'd put it like B.
Yeah, I also have to say that Robert Redford's character is a grade A douchebag, and I thought nothing of it. And being the guy who read the comics, I already knew Winter Soldier was Bucky, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going into this expecting anything after all.
Oh yeah, just
I agree
saying,
with
guys. We're like, what, not even halfway through, and we've been talking for 45 minutes.
It's boosted a little bit. We can go over now a little bit, but
Yeah.
pick it up. Okay, so I agree with B for Winter
Right,
Soldier.
B.
Yeah, nothing outstanding.
Yeah,
about the movie
same.
much, and also because it's a sequel,
I'd put
there's
it,
a lot of points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Marvel!
I'd
D-rated.
put the Winter Soldier above Ant-Man, but below Volume 2.
Yeah.
Above Ant-Man. Okay, alright. It's in the middle. Cool.
All right, Luke. We're about
Civil War?
I didn't realize which one we're up to.
No,
Wait.
Civil War.
Yeah. Wait, what
Okay,
order
we want crap on everything, yes. Civil War.
Civil War is B.
Good.
I'm gonna call it right now. I would go A because what other Marvel movie would you see all these different dynamics between characters come into play? Like it has a lot of relationship
Think
building.
of it as Batman v Superman done right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I
are you
mean,
saying, Matthew?
to be fair, I mean, like, I'd say it's a high B. I don't know about A, like, from my opinion.
Okay, I'll try sway.
I would say
some,
A because
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it did introduce Black Panther, so I was like, hell yeah.
It introduced
But
Black
I didn't like
Panther
the villain,
and
though.
It introduced Spider-Man.
The villain the villain didn't seem threatening to me.
I think it was because
But
it
the
was
villain
highlighting
wasn't
the
the main-
conflict between the Avengers themselves.
I mean, I know the villain was, like, the main focus was, like, Iron Man versus Captain America, right?
Yeah, but Zemo wasn't that threatening. The main story was how the Avengers were going to break up. That's the whole point of Civil War, which I got to give props for because it was brilliant. And that
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I liked it. I mean, we also got Spider-Man in there.
Yeah. He made
Yeah.
and he's like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Queens." And he's like, "Brooklyn." Okay, sorry for bringing
Yeah,
that
I don't
up.
know. I just think they're
Yankees up.
comparing it to other MCU films. Like,
Because this is one of the
actually, yeah, you know what? I'd put it on par with Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
I'd put it
Anyway.
below Age of Ultron.
Kevin, you might want to step back for this next one because me and Luke are about to
About
do
to go off. No, I can go. I can join in. So I put that as an A, by the way. Civil War.
Yeah, put it at the bottom of A. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, Matthew,
Here we go.
you're the one that first rated Captain Marvel 10 out of 10.
Keep
And
in
you only,
mind,
you only changed your opinion because we started bitching about it.
Matthew,
Taryn told
there's
me
an
to do
eighth level
that.
of hell for people who rated anything higher than a B.
Honestly, bro, Captain
being
Marvel, it's the first movie, like, the first film that I went to in cinemas, like, that I actually found boring.
Yeah.
Like,
Bro,
since the Death Cure.
Oh,
Dude,
the
I
Death
went to
Cure.
see Saving Mr. Banks. Don't lecture me about boring.
Yeah, but just that Captain Marvel was so much wasted potential.
Could I
Yeah,
give
I
like a
feel like
testimony
we
as to
did
why
it
it was really
too.
bad? I think it was because
Okay.
it felt too much like the whole movie. It felt too much like it was a movie that just had to be made.
Feminist propaganda.
Yeah,
It
felt like feminist
all the
propaganda.
feminist agendas. Yeah. So that it
Just
felt
have a
like that the
Karen
whole
in a
movie.
spacesuit.
Also,
But
like
no, just
I went to see it with my
I can
parents,
go
right?
in depth with this, man. I can go in depth with this.
Yeah,
We'll save
same.
this for a whole entire video on shitting on Captain Marvel.
But
Speaking of
honestly-
depth, this movie had no depth in it.
Yeah,
It was very.
no,
it
it
was
had a lot
very,
of depth, but like,
No,
at the
like,
end,
was all
but, like,
as a
girl
narrative,
power-
no.
power.
Like
honestly, if we get this live stream somehow to 10 likes, I'll make a video essay just shitting on Captain Marvel.
do it.
Yes, and I will
Like,
join you for that.
no cap. I will do it.
10
And-
likes.
and
for
No,
this.
honestly,
but
when
I've
it
got-
comes
Nah, it's not even the fact that it's bad. Like, it's not that bad. But compared to all the other MCU movies,
it
it
has
is
a
bad.
standard to uphold. Like you can't just make something like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
The audience
long
is
story short, if you want to see,
Yeah, no, I'm not done,
female
brother. You're gonna have to wait another 30 minutes for me to
Yeah.
finish.
Queue up.
And long story
No, but just
short, if you want to
I've
see,
even got like Matthew.
sorry,
Did you not get the memo, bro? I'm doing a rant here.
all right.
Nah, Matthew's
go.
stopping you before you start. It's probably the wisest thing to do.
No, I need to justify my decision with proper analysis.
Okay. Alright.
I'll try and sum it up as quickly as possible, but pretty much I've got a grudge against Captain Marvel, not just because it was bad, but because of something else that I'll talk about later.
Later. Oh my god.
Like just
you're like
after I
sequel
shouldn't it. No, but pretty much Captain Marvel was bad because they introduced a cat for no bloody reason. Like the cat, you
other
could have
than
taken
to,
the cat out and nothing would have changed. It ruined Nick Fury's character. He was supposed to be a badass. He was built up for 10 years. 10 years, and they ruin him by just having a cat scratch his eye and he's fine with it.
exposition, yeah.
It's bullshit.
It's so dumb, and also it's such feminist propaganda. Like it feels like it could have been good, but it feels like they made it too early. Like they didn't properly plan it.
It would be hard to
It's
make
just-
a movie like
I've
Captain
said,
Marvel
it's
and not
feminist
being.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Well, no, look at Alita.
Alita's a robot. though.
Alita wasn't Alita. Yeah, but she's a female robot. Even
Yeah,
though
she's a
like
robot.
it's not a thing. Like, but she looks like a female, you know.
She's representing the
mind of a
female
female.
robot population.
Well, I mean, no,
Yeah.
she does have female. She
Yeah,
does
I
have
get you.
female like qualities, but the thing is that like it didn't.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I
Captain
can,
Marvel.
yeah,
I've just-
frustration is seeping through the live stream.
Captain Marvel was just like, even the villains are so bad. They've got absolutely no, and they've got no reason to like bloody control Captain Marvel, right? They've got like no
Yep.
reason to control her, apart from I know the fact that like they need her to unlock her memories and stuff.
Mhm. That bit I did not get at all.
But it's like that's such a weak kind of reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
they
very.
spent all this time. They spent all this
endorsable.
time trying to get her to unlock her memories when they probably could have been coming up with some other technology.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't it
And
their
not to
own
mention,
kind
they
that came
took
up
one of
with
my
this super weapon?
Hmm.
Like they had one of them. They had one of their kind, right? Like someone else from their species. That I think was it the Kree, and they made the super weapon.
They
And
didn't
pretty
even
much-
make the Kree properly. They didn't even.
I know, bro. It's like you could have like all these years, right, or however long it was, that they were just trying to get her to unlock her memories. They could have been trying to develop technology to actually win the war. And then not even that.
introduced the
No,
Skrulls
Matthew, shut up.
already.
Shut up, Matthew. I'm not finished with the plot holes. Because then there's so many plot holes about how she got her powers because she got electrocuted. Apparently that gives you powers. And then there's the fact that she got a blood transfusion. That doesn't make any sense. Wouldn't she die? Like, wouldn't the blood cells just kill each other?
Space AIDS would have got her before her powers did.
No, just the fact that it's like, it's
Yeah.
well known, right? Like, medicine, you can't just, blood, like, you know, get different blood types and bloody transfuse them. Like, this is probably a blood type that's not even found on Earth, and they're just injecting it to her like it's going to be fine.
Kind of
That's
drugs.
all.
Could have killed it.
Imagine some guy
They
doing that, but instead
should've.
of superpowers, they get hepatitis.
Yeah.
And then the whole and then there's the thing with Skrulls
Oh
and how
my
they're
God.
like they're portrayed as the villains, right? But the twist is that they're actually the good people. And then Captain Marvel, who had been with the Kree for like all this time, she didn't even doubt them. They could have faked the evidence, and she didn't give a shit. She was just like, "Oh yeah, okay, you're telling the truth." And she turned on her comrades and just killed all of them.
Dude!
Yeah, the
They
writing is
ruined
really
the
right.
entire Secret Invasion storyline, which is one of my favorite storylines in the comics, and they instantly ruined it within 45 minutes.
Oh, sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, and also, to be honest, her friend had a good story. Her, I can't remember her name, the bloody black pilot chick.
Yeah.
Not being racist here, but like, she had a good story. But then everything else was just done poorly. And the reason why I bring up feminist propaganda and why I have a grudge against the film is because, do you remember that scene where it showed her like falling off and like hurting herself all those times, and she kept on getting back up?
Mhm.
Oh, crap.
It's like, bro, that's actually super unrealistic, right? Not even just for this, because I know it's fiction, but even just for this world, like she fell from however many meters onto her back. She should have at least broken her back. There's no way she should have been able to stand after that fall.
To be
It
fair,
made
a lot of these kind of scientific arguments can be applied to other Marvel films.
Yeah,
And
but
the
the
fa-
thing is that
they
they've got
only
like
did
actual
those-
suits and stuff that prevent, like, you know,
Yeah, it's more believable.
all this damage.
Okay.
Like
Luke,
Black
the
Panther,
only
for
reason
example,
they
he's got the
included those
vibranium
feminist
suit.
propaganda sequences in
I'm
the
not-
film make the women with dyed hair in the cinema feel good about themselves.
Yeah, and then when I was looking at the reviews after I watched the movie, they were all like, "Oh, yes, this is the movie that we need." It's like, bruh, the movie you should have been watching was Alita.
Yeah.
Had a strong
And
female
story-
protagonist who it wasn't feminist propaganda. She had her own goals. She was an interesting character. It was a good film.
Yeah.
It was a good film. And now it might not even get its bloody sequel because everyone was watching Captain Marvel instead of Alita.
Yeah.
To sum it
Alita
up, if
did
you
really
want to see
well.
a superhero, to sum it
Yeah,
up,
the
if you
action
wanna see-
scenes in Alita were even better than Captain Marvel.
All the slow-mo shots, really good.
Yeah, and
sum
also...
it up, if you want to see a superhero film with a female lead, go see Wonder Woman.
Go see Coraline.
Honestly, no.
It's a better movie.
You can see some clay chicks with big tits that are like 60 years old.
Okay, moving. Alright, cool. I think we've juiced all the comments we had about Brie Larson
And for that,
Captain
it
Marvel.
goes at the toilet.
Oh my god! And then they're talking about how she has
No.
how it's a superhero. It's a woman that can stand up for themselves, and then Brie Larson needs a butt double for the film.
That is the first time I've ever heard that before.
What do you mean?
I mean,
No,
like,
but
how
anyway,
concave
I'm
would
still
your butt need to
salty.
be for
Um,
a butt double? To be an
Until
actual film?
Alita gets a sequel, if it ever gets a sequel, I will be salty over this.
No, yeah. I hope it does. The way it finished was really leading up to a sequel. I was kind of annoyed.
Yeah,
that
I
it
know.
didn't. Anyway, so I've already put down Captain Marvel as a D. No argument there.
D for disappointing.
Yes,
Mega.
it wasn't the worst, but like I'd rate it
You
like
think-
4.5 out of 10 maybe.
I would rank
Yeah,
it.
I would go 3 out of 10. It wasn't engaging at all. The movie can be kind of like
Yeah, I know. I actually got bored during it. It's the first ever Marvel movie that I actually got bored while watching.
You never saw Thor: The Dark World.
I had
was
seen
bad.
Thor: The Dark World,
It was bad.
but then the thing was that I was young though, so I didn't really understand what was happening anyway.
Okay, moving on to
I wasn't
Doctor
absorbing
Strange.
all the information.
Let's clean this up, Alex. Okay.
Doctor Strange, get your ass.
Doctor Strange is underrated.
Yeah.
The start is shit, but the rest of it is good.
Yes.
Remember that review you did on it, Luke?
Oh,
Bring it back up.
really? I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. Okay. No, I would.
I mean,
I
it
would
doesn't exist anymore, so it's
I would-
fine.
quite early. I would call this movie an A.
Yeah, I'd put Doctor Strange in A.
Doctor Strange. He's good.
It'd be low A for me, Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Doctor
And also,
Strange.
some people didn't like the trippy stuff, but I loved that, man.
Bro, if you were on acid, that would be the ultimate trip ever. You should have just like packed in a couple of shrooms before you head into the cinema to like see the movie and just go, all right, time to go on the biggest trip on my. I'm gonna be freaking the heck out.
Are we talking about
Hash cakes.
thing where he gets like pushed out of the machine? That seems really good.
Yeah, I mean, just whenever they use the powers, really.
Yes.
Yeah. Basically any scene where they use their powers.
Yeah, honestly, there's nothing more to say to Doctor Strange, like, other than the start was kind of boring and it took a while to lead up to, like, you know,
Yeah.
the main
It was a
point,
solid
like the main plot.
MCU.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of establishing the character, you know, it was pretty good.
The
Yeah.
villain itself also wasn't strong. Obviously.
Yeah, the villain was trash. There was absolutely, we didn't get any reasons
Dormammu.
for why they'd be.
That's cool.
Yeah, but
Dormammu.
even then, Dormammu
The
wasn't even
bargain.
like the main villain, really.
Hmm.
It was
that
not like
other
the
guy that was.
catalyst of everything, but yeah, he was.
Yeah. But then
big
they were supposed to stop that other guy from bringing Dormammu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other guy was like, it was just the fact that he wanted power, which was
Yeah.
pretty
They could have
weak.
built up Dormammu a bit more because in the comics, Doctor Strange and Dormammu. It's one of the least known rivalries, but as I dug deep into like the Doctor Strange comics and all that, it became one of my favorite ones. On a pure basis, it's like this kind of magical kind of thing, which I quite liked.
One thing I really
Yeah.
liked that the movie did well was it was a good kind of origin story. They
Yeah.
really took their time with showing how like depressed he was and like he went to actually get treatment and stuff. It's pretty believable. Like if I were a smart doctor like him, you know, like, and I could do the surgery on myself, but I couldn't because I was the one being done on. I'd probably go like, you know, resort to magic and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, now
I've-
for the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Just
Wait,
saying,
Yes.
if
Sorry,
Guardians,
Yes.
Were we putting Strange? Where in the A movie were we putting Strange? Before Black Panther? after Black Panther?
No, it's at the bottom.
At the bottom?
yeah,
Yeah, it's at the bottom of A.
At least above Civil War, maybe? Maybe? Nah.
No.
At the bottom.
No,
No.
I'd still put it below Civil War, but
yeah.
Oh, awesome. Best OST. But like,
One of them.
okay, so anyway, guys, it did a lot of unexpected things. It introduced to us 5 new characters. It's 5, right? Yeah, it's 5.
Which weren't even well known in comics, mind
Yeah,
you.
it popularized 5 new characters as well. We didn't just kind of have to like accept them as being part of the plot. You know, they were actually quite yeah. Also,
They took a risk and it paid off.
yeah. One of its strong points is just how easily kind of how easy it is to warm up to the characters. It's like
And that soundtrack, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the amount of
Yeah.
in that I loved. It's better than the soundtrack for Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man, because there's a whole heap of AC/DC in it. Those 2 soundtracks for songs are better than Baby Driver. And if you have a problem with that, you can take your opinion,
the thing is,
up your
I would agree, but
I mean, I'd say Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack is equal with Baby Driver, but
I'll be honest right
Yeah.
now. I hadn't heard half of the songs, maybe more than half from Guardians of the Galaxy. So it actually introduced me to a lot
actually,
of
no,
songs.
I'd still say Baby Driver is better than Guardians of the Galaxy in terms of soundtrack.
Well, that's the thing.
I
I didn't know more songs from Guardians than I did for. I already knew some songs from.
I did,
Baby.
because
Yeah,
Mum's
but-
raised
but
me on
It's
80s.
just the fact that the Baby Driver music, I feel like even more so than Guardians of the Galaxy, it actually impacted like the movie in terms of like
Oh,
bringing
yeah.
the
So
quality
how,
up.
how it was used and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would agree. Comedy
So where
in
we go-
Guardians. Great.
yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Tracks. A lot of them have their
And
own
also
style.
the thing
comedy.
that, yeah,
Drax was comedy gold.
yeah. Also, just the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy was so different from all the other Marvel movies that came before it.
Also, I loved like when we get
Different
introduced to
vibe,
Rocket and Groot,
Yeah.
when we get introduced to them as like comedy gold. You have like these 2 conflicting personalities. One's this loud, abrasive, like raccoon, and then you have just I am Groot.
Oh, also the first
Yeah,
time
I
we ever
also
see
like
Thanos
that. I
in
also
person.
like that they're not really heroes. You know, they're just like pretty much a
Bandmates.
ragtag team of like just hooligans, pretty much.
And it did that pretty well because it didn't show them getting along with each other like straight away at first. That part of the movie was.
Yeah,
What's that bleeping in the
yeah,
background?
yeah. And even like where
that's
it
just
left
someone
off,
trying to call-
All good. What's that bleep?
even like where the movie left off, I thought it was like pretty good.
Yeah.
And with the whole stuff with Ronan.
Oh, Ronan. For bringing it up, Ronan was a pretty weak villain for me. He didn't quite do the whole thing.
Yeah. You know, that's how he was related to Thanos.
Yeah. And people who knew the comics would know that but kind of leading
Yeah.
up to bigger things.
Yeah, I feel like Ronan's probly better in the comics, but
Yeah.
I would say so. Oh,
like, I haven't
basically,
read
all
the comics, but I just get that vibe
what else?
because I already heard of him before as well. And also just like when Ronan showed up in Captain Marvel for no reason.
No reason at all.
God damn it! Oh,
Okay.
hi, Elisa.
Why? Is she,
Yeah,
I haven't checked our chat.
we've got fans
Wait, where does it say this?
in the chat. Where else did it say it?
Hold up. my
Say
chat
what it
isn't
says.
updating. Okay, anyway. Where are we putting our Guardians? I would say A.
S.
Above.
Really?
Yes.
I'd put an S.
I would go lowest on S. Oh, sorry.
I'd put it a bit higher than. Oh, I don't know if it's better than the first
I
Avenger.
would put it between Civil War and Doctor Strange.
Okay. I just don't want to clog up S. I know there's a couple more that I might want to put in S, but yeah, I'll put it lowest on S. Okay.
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
even
I'd put it-
debating
put it-
whether
I'd
it
put
should
it-
be. We can change it
Actually,
later
no.
on. I would go.
I'd put it between Black Panther and Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah.
Would you? Oh,
Yeah,
now
fair
that you put
enough.
it that way,
It's better than Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
It's
All right, now, I don't know if you lot have seen Iron Man 2, but that was like the third MCU film I ever saw. Wait, no, because I saw it just before. But I felt like Iron Man 2 as a film, if you didn't see the first one, it would have been alright, but if you have seen the first one, it would have been like a... Because sometimes second films, to me, are always a bit lighter. They don't live up to... It's the whole sequel. No, doesn't live up to the original. I didn't think it was that bad,
Yeah, I think Iron Man 2 was the weakest of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, it's
Iron Man
like
2.
Ant-Man. I would put it
Yeah.
at like
Well,
C
I
on the
used to
pure
think for what Iron
basis.
Man 3 was, but now that you've said it, I can see why Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3 gets a lot of hate for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know why. I
For some
like
reason.
that one.
That Iron Man 3 is actually the first MCU movie that I ever watched, and the first like actual superhero movie that
Oh,
I
really?
watched.
Dang.
Yeah,
When
and
was it released?
I mean, I might be biased towards it, but I thought it was pretty good. Even going back and rewatching it, I thought it was still pretty good.
I would put Iron Man 2 at C on the pure basis, like it kind of drops a bit, but with Iron Man 3, I would actually put that like it's either between Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy, like between Civil War and Doctor Strange, because in Iron Man we have a completely different twist, and we kind of get introduced to them. I feel like the only kind of gripe I have with Iron Man 3 is the way the Mandarin was handled, because
Honestly, people that get angry at that, like, you don't really need to get angry at that. I thought it was a pretty funny twist, to be honest. And I know that he was very different. Wasn't he supposed to be quite intimidating in the comics?
No,
Like-
in the comics he was a bit more mythic based. He had like these 10 magical rings and the whole
Yeah, no,
stuff
yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
get
I
into.
mean. Like, as in like mysterious,
I felt like
intimidating.
I felt like that kind of plot twist I felt was actually good in a way, because we get a bit
I mean, it's
more
unexpected.
powerful Mandarin, because I always felt like the
Well,
line
definitely unexpected.
I felt like the classic Mandarin. I felt that was a bit, it's a bit too terroristy to me. And then they revealed like it's that old deception trick. It's a swerve, being zoomed here. I felt like that turn was like, yeah, that's good. And also the fact that we see a repeat of the set of the first bit in the first film, where he's like down to his bare minimum. Iron Man we're talking about, where you see Stark at his bare minimum. He shows why his brain is like, why he's like one of the
Yeah, well, he's one of the top like inventors
yeah,
or engineers or whatever.
straight up MIT graduate at 19 years old.
90s,
Anyone else who can say that besides Sheldon Bane isn't.
Where do we feel
I mean,
comfortable putting Iron
but then
Man?
again, the problem that I have with Iron Man is the villain.
Yeah,
Very-
I don't know.
That's the one thing that I feel like he's not the worst villain, but he's just
the one thing I would say about
he's just
him
like
is actually
no, that, and yeah, no,
Iron
I'm
Man
just
2's a
like that's what I
different story
said
as well.
before when I was talking about Black Panther, how the villain's good, but then nowadays the villains are getting like no, like before the villains were like kind of plain,
Yeah,
and now
Especially
they're
with Iron
slowly
Man
getting
2.
better villains.
so
especially with Iron Man 2, because you have like two different villains with two different aspects, and you have rip-off version of Tony Stark, and you have a version of Iron Man. Why not make them the same person?
I mean, to be honest, I'd still say the villain in Iron Man 2 is better than the villain in Iron Man.
Yeah.
Because the villain in Iron Man 2 actually had because his obviously his goal was to sabotage
Yeah.
Tony Stark so
I
he can get
suppose he
a
was
bigger
more
company.
woven into the plot than the other one. Iron Man one's villain was a bit the only relation they had was because he wanted
They were like work partners.
He wanted no.
He wanted
The
more
whole
money.
entire thing was with. All right, we'll save this. All right, so quickly, I just want to give my rating for Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is above Ant-Man and Wasp, and Iron Man 3 I feel like is above Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Sorry, so Iron Man 2 is above
I'd put Iron Man 2 in C, but like it would be above Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, that's what I
would
said.
I would go B at least. I'd go higher than Guardians Volume 2.
Oh.
actually.
For
Nah.
Iron Man
Really?
2 or 3.
Nah, I
give it
wouldn't.
10. Okay.
I can put it. I'm fine with it being in B.
Yeah.
Maybe even ahead of Ant-Man, but I wouldn't say it's ahead of the Winter Soldier.
All right.
Yeah.
It's in
Iron Man
between
3 was
Volume 2 and
Soldier.
Ant-Man now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now with
Right.
Iron Man 1, I'm putting it as an S ranking for a few reasons. Number one, if that wasn't a major success, A, we wouldn't be doing this video
Yeah.
right now, and B,
Yeah.
the whole MCU just been a complete cluster bomb
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
like,
but
Soundtrack
then-
as well, AC/DC.
of like dramatic
Yeah.
proportions on the fact that it would have been like a whole Dark Universe thing before the whole Dark Universe happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but
I felt like the way-
just before you get into them, and just speak about why it's good, like it is a good movie, but I feel like it's just a bit overrated because of what it started. Not just like people kind of like, oh, it's a good film. Like they do list good points for what's a good film, but also they say that, oh, like I'm inclined to give it so and so because it started the whole MCU, when like looking at it as a film individually, comparing it to the other films.
But
I
another
disagree.
thing
The,
as
the
well.
only reason I like the film, barely anything to do with the fact that it's the first one. It's just what do you call it? It shows how Tony Stark went from being such a different character to another different character, and a lot of other merits.
Yeah.
Another thing
No,
as
I had
well,
very good character development.
Yeah.
for me though as well, Iron Man before this film, in fact, the entire MCU before this film, apart from Hulk, they weren't that widely. Not to mention, it was an entire gamble anyway. All right, so bringing in, imagine this: you're in 2007, getting a first superhero and a character people beside comic fans have either not heard of, barely know at all. You're casting an actor, Robert Downey Jr., who has a questionable past with a few controversies here.
Yep.
You're having to do the story. They did the story. Robert Downey Jr., the director Jon Favreau, and the guy who played the villain Jeff Bridges. They were doing most of the scenes on the day in the movie trailer, so they were just like doing stuff as they went. Yeah. And also at the same time, you're trying to kickstart this universe that you hope will rival likes of the Fast and Furious, James Bond, and a whole heap of others.
Yeah, Star Wars.
Strong points. Yeah, it had a lot of stuff to overcome, definitely, which is why I think it goes up there with the.
And also, looking back in the comics, the character of Obadiah Stane has always been a villain, especially in the way that, like, relating to like Stark Industries and the fact that we have that relationship where it's almost like a father-son type of thing, but deep down, you know that Obadiah is jealous that Tony has gotten what was his for a long time, and the fact that
okay. So where did we put Iron Man 2? Iron Man 3, sorry?
B, above Captain... not above Captain... above Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Okay.
And with Iron Man 1, why I think it's a S rating was the way it turned out as well. The way the story was. The way that, you know, you have this character and you have like these seeds of the universe planted, and the way the story is told, you see how heroes aren't, like the tagline said, heroes aren't, they're built. We see the makings of a hero. We see a hero who's original. Yeah, we see Stark change into a person with. You see action scenes. Yeah. Also, you have those incredible aerial sequences, and people don't like Stane as a villain. I think he's quite good as a villain because we're thinking about the classic old billionaire who wants to control the company and eventually the world, and he is like pretty much, imagine him as like a darker version of Iron Man, if you will, especially in that fight. Because I felt like for the first one, I felt that it was brilliant. It was a good example of a superhero film that can be done with a lesser known. They did a few attempts here and there. Hell, they made Howard the Duck movie in 1980, and they bombed. So to see them make lesser character,
from that to this, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, turn a lesser character, a popular character.
Yeah.
You turn
the Incredible Hulk. Come on, it wasn't really a stunner film. Like it wasn't any more reason to watch Iron Man as was Howard the Duck. Howard
the Duck. Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why I'm not ranking it. I mean, I'm tempted to put it between Endgame and Captain America, not only because of how it was done, how it was presented, but the way that how we can see that Marvel are able, and it's the same thing with Ant-Man, how they're able to take a lesser known character, put him in a major motion picture centered on, and you get, not only do you get more eyes on the, expose the character to popularity, build a fan base that includes more people, and they get into the universe.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it ahead of is that right? Ahead of Captain America: The First Avenger, just because. Admittedly, I have a little bit of bias because I saw it way before I saw the First Avenger. But is that all good, Luke?
I mean, yeah, you can do. I mean, I personally disagree, but
okay.
I mean, it's fine.
All good.
I'd probably put an S anyway.
Yeah, as long as there's a bit of leniency, like it's not outrageously different. That's all good.
And while
Yeah.
and guys, I don't know if you mind, but while we're on the topic of
Mhm.
MCU, the 2008 and the start of, so I want to quickly touch on the pure basis of how I don't know why people hate this film. I mean, I personally enjoyed it.
Sorry, Matthew cut out. What film are you talking about?
The Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay, wait, are we up to that, or are we doing the Avengers first?
I feel like we should do the Incredible Hulk
Okay, yeah.
first.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I haven't watched it, so
I've seen
I'm
it.
kind of out of this one.
It was the fifth MCU I remember watching.
It was the second one.
you
I mean,
watched
that came out. Oh, okay,
And
yeah,
sure,
no, never
the
mind.
Hulk was one of those characters on the pure basis, the 2000 film, which was a whole pile of stinking hot garbage. You had that series in the 80s.
Okay.
And then, but I felt like the way that I like Mark Ruffalo's take on Bruce Banner, but the way Edwin Norton did it was a bit trying to set up what Ruffalo would continue a better way. I felt like that film is underrated as a whole, not only because I'm like a bit of a fan of the Hulk. I like read the comics ever since I was 9. I quite like the idea of like science taking this dark turn. And the fact that I felt like the villain is a bit too hated though as well. Like I felt like the entire film as a whole is like better than everyone makes it out there.
Yeah.
Especially considering the fact that we haven't got the whole because Universal technical rights to that and they aren't giving up that ghost easily.
I feel like nowadays the standard for villains, correct me if I'm wrong, but back then if you had a villain that was just the polar opposite of the protagonist, then that was it, right? Like that was a pretty good villain if they were the complete opposite. Nowadays you kind of need something more, like they have to be kind of the opposite as well as some kind of development in themselves. Like with Black Panther, he had different ideals to T'Challa, but he had a backstory as well. So there's that extra dimension. For stuff like the
And
Hulk,
it's
it's
and especially that the point that the US government treat him like a weapon, and it causes Bruce Banner to like go on the run for like a decade on end, just so he can like not only protect himself, but that he can cure himself of what he sees as a disease. And then later on, we see him coming into his own and accepting that yes, the Hulk is a part of him, but he can use it as a force for good. And also because the fact is that unlike most of the other heroes, Hulk is like one of those ones that the army respects Spider-Man in a way that J. Jonah Jameson doesn't. The army even hates the Hulk, really dislikes because they see him as a threat.
Yeah, obviously.
Like imagine if your
power is basically just strength, like raw strength.
Yeah, raw strength, raw anger, emotion, like uncontrollable. And you know the old saying, you're afraid of something you can't control. It's pretty much it. It's like a movie out of fear. And I feel Abomination is like, think of Hulk if he decided, you know what? I'm going to kill people.
Yeah.
Especially the fact that the character of Emil Blonsky like has always intrigued me reading the books because the way his character is set up, and then even like General Thunderbolt, I always thought a lot of people saw him semi-antagonist. I saw him as like
you're cutting up a bit every now and then. It was happening earlier, but now it's a bit more frequent. Did you move rooms or anything? No. We'll see if it keeps going, eh? But yeah, I agree with that. I always forget that there's a greater conflict in the Hulk, which is him versus the government and obviously himself, because he's having like, should I be what I think I should be, which is like a force for good, etc. So I think I enjoyed that dynamic a bit. Yeah, a lot of yeah. So where are we putting the Hulk, Matthew? We'll definitely see it because it kind of completes the Marvel universe for you, I suppose. But
and it's not that bad of a film if you look. Because when I see it, I look it through the lens. When I see it, I look through the lens of like the year it was released.
Yeah.
So I look at it
not as the only lens that you look at it through.
But I would personally put it. I mean, it's not.
Would you go after Ant-Man?
Yeah, after Ant-Man. I feel like that's good.
After Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I can. Yeah, so I put it
Alright.
right before Volume 2, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Luke, are we in agreement? So, yeah, you haven't seen it, sorry. But, yeah, okay. Moving on to the next one. Is Luke still there? Luke, you still there? Give us a shout, Luke. if you're
Yes,
still
I
there.
am.
Okay, cool.
I am.
Alright. We've gotten to the big meaty ones, apart from just a couple, but yeah. Avengers, the very first one. Just titled The
Oh.
Avengers. What are we thinking of this one? I
Yes.
Yes.
yes, yeah, I would say
I personally think it's the best Marvel movie to date.
it put together 5 heroes with mostly their own movies.
It was 6, but like
6, yeah, sorry, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
mostly their own
Well,
movies.
you can't blame him. No one counts Hawkeye these days.
bruh, Hawkeye is underrated, okay?
Wasn't he gonna get his own thing?
He's got his own series.
He has
Honestly,
no series.
one thing that I wish they let him do was go more down as Ronin kind of
Yes.
route in like Endgame.
Yes, I would have loved for that to happen.
Yeah, they should have sustained that new character a bit more, the kind of darker part of him. But that was just to show that he was
Or
a
even-
different
even-
person
wait.
than this without his family.
You know the Hawkeye spin-off series?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, what's that actually like? When's that based? Is it based like before, after?
It's after. Like,
After
it's
what?
after Endgame, I think.
Oh, bro, they should have one in between Infinity War and Endgame where he goes Ronin.
Yes, I would.
It's quite a bit of time. It's 2 years. Yeah, they can do quite a lot with that.
But yeah, where are we putting this, boys?
Infinity War. Well, first of all, like Loki as
I
a
mean, it's
villain,
straight up
really good.
top of this.
Yeah,
Top of the list. Top of
Like,
the list.
just
Bee's knees.
you really don't really need to go into detail about it.
No.
Yeah, we don't need to go into detail about it.
Would you put
Everyone's
it
seen
after Infinity War though?
Nah, I'd put it above Infinity War.
above because of what, not only of what it's kicked off, because it was but also because it was the first movie off that magnitude. All those characters.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
was looking
just-
pretty complete right now apart from this last one. So yeah, I agree with most of these. Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Now on to the first.
We are introduced to
The first
very
Thor's a C. The first
Yeah,
Thor's
it's
a
a
C.
C. It's a C. It's above Ant-Man and the Wasp because
Yeah, I'd put it above Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's just
And
that there's nothing
same with
outstanding
Thor
about
too.
the film.
I would.
There's nothing outstanding, but there wasn't anything like really bad about it.
I would actually put it
It was just
behind
pretty average.
Bottom of B.
bottom of B. And
I
with,
mean, I'd put it top of C. I don't know if I'd put it like
Bottom of B.
I would put it at the
up
bottom
with
of
like
B.
like Ant-Man
I would put it
or
at
like the Winter Soldier.
I'd put it at the bottom of B on the pure basis that Thor: The Dark World is like it's
Yeah, it's
literally
the Dark
C.
I mean,
I
I'd put Thor: The Dark World in D, but
Yeah, I put it
but
just after. No.
I'd
Okay,
put
so
it above.
I'd put it above Captain Marvel. But
we start with Thor
Like
B.
just-
I always thought Thor: The Dark World was a bit boring. But the first Thor I felt was incredible. It stuck a bit more to the comic basis. We see that, Thor, we see humanity kind of introduced to some not of this world, and just like, the whole concept of another verse and all that and that kind of thing that wasn't really explored before, and then get to see it, and it's just fantastic.
Yep. So now
Ragnarok, on the
we're all
other
the same
hand.
one. Yeah, Ragnarok. Shout out to
okay,
the boy
my
should,
God.
we should probably put the first 2 Thor movies in before we talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Bottom of B for Thor, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then
Fair enough.
Thor: The Dark World was above Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Because apart
I
from
mean,
like
it introduced us to the Reality Stone, didn't it? But that's really all you can say about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's the top of
I
B.
mean, the whole Loki Thor thing was kind of like, it was kind of good in that movie.
It's already,
Yeah, it was
it had already been like directly done.
Huh?
Like
What?
Thor and the whole Thor and Loki dynamic as Loki being the villain was kind of fully explored in the first Thor anyway. So
yeah,
I guess it needed that.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the villain of the second one though, was he?
he was like an ally of the second one.
Yeah, he had a villainous role.
He was kind of like in between. He was neutral.
He was the trickster.
Yeah, he had to help Thor because of reasons.
Yeah, I suppose it actually owes a lot to Loki's development because he's gone from being the pure antagonist to kind of just like the on the fence guy. I don't know,
Especially that one scene, like the moment he gets told that, when Frigga gets killed by Malekith, the moment he gets told that and he has that burst of power that pushes back the furniture in his cell, then afterwards we see him being depressed. It shows that even he cared about
yeah.
his mother, because his mother treated him with such a kindness that Odin didn't do.
Yeah. So are we still bottom of D, or should I go top?
No, it's not bottom of D. It's above
top
Captain
of
Marvel.
D or bottom of C?
Bottom of C.
I'd put it top D, but
It feels wrong putting anything with Captain Marvel though.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, fair
bottom
enough.
of C it is. Okay, so
Okay, I'm just Kevin.
yeah.
Before you do anything, just rename D as Captain Marvel.
Just
do
don't
it.
get it. Yeah.
Just trash for people who died here.
Alright. No.
Now
we're not gonna trigger
Ragnarok,
anyone.
I feel like as New Zealanders, like
Yeah,
in
man.
some sort
Yeah,
of
we
way,
get a lot of the
we
comedy.
appreciate Ragnarok.
Yeah. You get a lot of the
I'm
fresh
the only-
ideas, like, I suppose, like the new
Yeah,
takes
like
on it.
actually, some people said that they didn't like the comedy and that it ruined it, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Although
Yeah,
I
but
can
that's
see
the
how
thing,
people
are
would
you
think.
defying my culture? Are you defying my culture? My nationality?
I don't think they're opposing
You know
anything.
what you
This
want
is
about, man?
racist.
No, bro.
Man.
Yeah, but then
Like,
again, Taika would have just gotten his brothers to whack him out.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, Thor, great opening. I think the best opening out of any Marvel film. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it's got really good soundtrack as well.
Yes.
Immigrants.
And also the stuff between
Led Zepp.
Although-
the thing that I like about Ragnarok is just how pure badass it is. Like,
Kind of gives
And
Thor the
also
kind of
it's
character
so good.
dimensions that he needed.
and
other
the
than
choreography as well.
And Korg. We can't forget Korg. Oh, hey, how's it going? My name's
Oh, yeah,
Korg.
I'm Taika
Oh, this
Waititi,
is
bro.
Mick. Oh, Mick's dead.
Yeah, bro.
Sure.
Oh,
getting that representation in there.
the revolution's about to begin.
And
Oh, yeah,
what do
gee.
you call it?
Oh,
Thor
Turbo.
and Hulk together were really good as well. Great scenes.
Mm,
Kind of
Yes.
simple comedy, but it works. Like, kind of
glad
enjoyable.
they finally
Yeah.
got Hulk to speak.
Mm.
Only took
Yes.
10 years.
I keep forgetting that it did a lot for the Hulk as well. Then,
Mm.
well, yeah, not more than Thor, but yeah, quite a bit.
I mean, I think we can just say the white tits is a master.
Yes.
Jojo
He's a
Rabbit.
genius.
Yeah.
Bro, oh yes.
Yeah, you've seen it, eh? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, we're here to talk about Thor Ragnarok. So, what else can we talk about?
Yeah. I mean, just like, the cinematography, like the shots are so good. Like, at the start when the dragon's trying to eat him, like there's
Yeah.
some pretty good shots there. And then
Oh,
again,
yeah.
when Odin dissipated.
Also, the
and-
same scene at the beginning where he hurls his hammer and it goes around in a circle and it follows.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Love that tracking
Yeah.
shot.
What do we think?
Yeah,
is
and
the
also
villain,
the
though?
bit where just Hela. Just remember that one shot when all the Asgardian warriors are trying to fight. Is it Hel or Hela? I can't remember what her name is.
Hella.
Yeah, and then she just keeps on just summoning all these swords and wrecking all of them in that one
That was
shot.
brutal. Yeah.
Oh, I was just like,
What's that, man?
or
Yeah,
I
that
also
was just
how they cast him. They cast a New Zealander to play Scourge, the janitor, right? The guy with the bloody machine
Oh,
guns.
the executioner.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, is he from NZ? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a famous actor named Carl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no,
Dang,
but then they had the other chick as well. That was also in Hunt for the Water People. She was one of the
Yes,
generals or
thanks,
something
Mike.
of the.
yes.
Yeah, you remember the cop from Hunt for the Water People?
Yeah, she was
Oh,
the cell
yes,
guardian,
that
wasn't she? She
was-
was like a guy.
Yeah.
I was just
I
like,
remember
that.
oh, crap, Taika's gone back to the old boys school.
Good on him, yeah. Because like he could have just chosen some high-ranking, not high-ranking, but just some like high-profile actors.
We got
Yeah.
Sam
But he
Neill to
chose
appear as Odin in that fake and phony play that they were doing in Asgard, right?
Oh yeah, at the start.
Yeah, there was
the
like
play,
a whole New Zealand Easter eggs that only we could have noticed, and even now we're only discussing them.
yeah,
And there's like a whole heap of others.
heaps, definitely heaps. Okay, so this will be hard to rank because we're getting into the thick of it now. All these movies.
Yeah,
up here.
yeah.
I'm tempted to put it between Spider-Man: Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, same. I think it'd be fine there. I'd put it
Arguably,
above
right?
Spider-Man
Arguably,
Homecoming.
I think Ragnarok has the most character and like wit out of most of the films, if not all of them.
Yeah.
I'd say
Bit
the
of it.
only ones that actually, in terms of character, that and just vibe, like how vibrant they are.
Yeah.
I'd say the only ones that are on like par with Ragnarok are Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go between Guardians and Panther, actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I 100% agree. Cool. Oh, last one. I actually remember this
Spider-Man
one.
Far From.
Yeah, I remember this one most clearly, apart from a couple of them.
It wasn't as good as Homecoming in my opinion, but it was still good.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
It's good.
On the
Actually,
basis that
yeah.
because Luke,
I mean,
you
it
might
wasn't
agree
everything I wanted, but it was still good.
It was pretty
the
satisfactory.
way it introduced Mysterio was they stayed true to the character, apart from the fact that he was in a stunt double. He like Tony Stark and all that, but I quite liked the way they handled his character, which I thought
Yeah.
was quite cool.
I didn't like how the trailer pretty much spoiled the twist of Mysterio.
Yeah, Kevin, I don't know what your opinions are on it because, of course, you went on a trip, right? I remember that much.
Yeah.
That type of stuff did not happen when you.
No. But I was because some of the locations movie, I was like, oh yeah, I've been pretty But
Just like, oh yeah, I was there.
Venice.
Hey, look. Venice was a lot of the action scenes as well. Like when you've actually seen some of the sets that they were supposedly filming on, the CGI was like pretty seamless, like and that special bridge in Venice. I don't know what it's called, but where the main kind of first fight happened. That was really well done.
Yeah.
It's a pretty much a landmark, which everyone knows. It's not so much. But yeah,
Also,
I like how they did
that ending when they brought back J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson,
gold.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
I was
yes.
like,
even if it was
yes!
for just a few minutes, a few seconds.
We still got that man is Spider-Man.
Super good.
I missed that in.
So what do you think
I
about?
have to say, one thing I didn't like though is like about the Spider-Man thing is that they just like wrote off Liz, and now it's MJ.
Yeah, but then again, Spider-Man
I don't
and
mind.
MJ, though it's not Mary Jane Watson, it's just.
Yeah. I respect that choice. I think they
The least
approached
they
the
could have
relationship
done
pretty
is dye
maturely.
her.
Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I like how they chose to have MJ know he was already Spider-Man and just kind of be like chill with it. Like I didn't want to.
Yeah, she was like 60% sure or something, wasn't? Didn't you say?
Yeah. Because it
We
was just
didn't have
like,
another Lois Lane Superman situation, is what you're saying. She's actually smart.
yeah, she
Honestly,
realistic.
just everything about that film was like funny.
Yeah.
Well, I just really like the chemistry of this cast
Yes.
in the Spider-Man films is really good.
It felt like Breakfast Club meets a sci-fi action. That's the way I always know.
That's how to explain it.
All right, so
I would
we
put
reached
that
the
on the
verdict.
same level as Homecoming, personally.
I mean, I'd put it between Civil War and Doctor Strange.
we got to give this a lot of thought because we might have to do some rearranging of this.
Yeah.
So I agree with After Doctor Strange. Oh, do I? I don't know. I would go between Iron Man 3 and Doctor Strange, actually. I would go.
Yeah,
I would actually agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be inclined to put it. Yeah, I'd say it's more like top B, but yeah, bottom A doesn't really matter.
Bottom A, top B, that area.
I'm top bottom A, Matt. So what do you think?
Yeah, bottom A.
Yeah, just put it bottom
I
A.
agree with you three.
Well,
I mean,
that's
you two,
all of it.
damn
Let's
it.
have another look at our list here, guys. Make sure nothing kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
Okay, at D, Captain Marvel. No need to change nothing there, though we should technically change that to a toilet emoji.
Captain Marvel's not suiting it. It's kind of its own self-defined category. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, C.
Stuff Captain Marvel.
Yeah, C, I agree with that. B, I kind of agree with that. I would.
As
I
it
would
gets
put
further up. A and B are all my kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, the only movie that I'd probably want to put lower is Iron Man 2. Just like comparing it to Ant-Man.
Well, I'll be right back. Hang on, I'll be right back. I don't like to leave the stream, but I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right. Too much information, Kevin.
I
would like put Iron Man 2 at like the basis that.
I'd put it above Winter Soldier, but I don't know if I'd want to put it above Ant-Man.
Mm. I would put Thor above. I have to be honest.
Really?
Kinda.
I just think that a lot of the first Thor movie was kind of plain. Like, I just feel like it was quite average.
Yeah, I would.
Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really, like, it wasn't good or anything.
Yeah, I would actually.
Like, it had good moments, it had bad moments, it had average moments.
I actually kind of agree there.
We should think of while Kevin's in the loo. Oh, he's back.
So
Did I hear him?
yeah, no, it's me.
Okay, yeah. So if pretty much just said that.
Iron Man.
I was saying that Iron Man 2 might be like a notch or two lower. Like, I don't know if we'd put it above Ant-Man, but
I would put it like. To be honest, I would put it at like.
I'm open to any changes. I'm fine with it being between Hulk and Ant-Man. To be honest, I'm taking all these movies with kind of like a grain of salt, just because there's probably a lot of things. That
yeah, I mean, it's not like this is a perfect ranking.
Yeah,
or anything.
we don't know everything there is to know about how the films were made and everything.
Yeah, like I can only remember so much.
Yeah.
Matthew
I
probably
think the
has
last time I actually tried watching all of them, like over like a week or something, I started watching all of the Marvel movies,
yeah.
the MCU movies. This was like a year or two ago. I think it was when Homecoming was the latest film.
I did that. I was successful.
Okay, is the list in good standing with everyone then?
I mean, I'd say it's okay.
Yeah, I would actually say that it's all right.
Yeah.
For my list, I got D, Captain Marvel, C, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Thor, B, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Hulk, Ant-Man, Thor, and Iron Man 2. And again, when I'm saying these tier list things, for each one, I'm doing it in like top to bottom, in that kind of sense. For A, I agree. And with C, obviously, it's just up there. So, yeah, I agree with pretty much all the decisions we've made.
Okay. Wait, Matthew, go through B, because I might have gotten some jumbled up.
Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Captain America, the Soldier, Hulk, Ant-Man, Thor, Iron Man.
Okay. I've reordered my list. Again, I'm fine with that. I've just made a couple of changes, but yeah.
Yeah, that's from
my strongest objection would be Iron Man 3's position, but even that I can let slide probably.
Really? I think it deserves to be there.
Yeah, same. I think it deserves to be at the top of that.
Okay.
And with A, I see nothing like no problem with that. With Homecoming up top, and then you got Guardians 1, and then you got Ragnarok, and then you got Panther, and then you got Ultron, and then you got Civil War, and then you got Strange, and then you got Far From.
Okay, my list is a bit different from yours. I'll just reorder it. So you said Spider-Man,
I think mine's the same as Kevin's.
Yeah,
much.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
You know, I'll keep mine because these are kind of like our own opinions. We're not going to agree on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with S, you got Avengers, and then Infinity War, and then Endgame, then Iron Man.
I mean, I might be inclined to put Iron Man above maybe Endgame, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would. I'm actually doing that right now.
I might even put the first Avenger above Endgame, just thinking about it. And I think the first Avenger is a very underrated film, but
I put the first one on the top of the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with Matthew there actually, because context for that one especially applies, and top best I've said for Avengers. All right.
Just before we finish this live stream, I think we should say I think we should do this again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Sure.
What do you want to rank next time? What do you want to rank? Anything else?
The X-Men films. Surely we rank the bloody Fox ones.
I don't know enough about X-Men, so that could be like a you guys project, but we could think of some more.
Yeah. I would.
I don't know. We could do other things, Kevin.
Yeah.
How about we rank the top events in Avatar: The Last Airbender? Like the top, for example, is in like the winter solstice part. Like all the bits that are like 2 parts or more.
That will get really long.
Again, that could also be a you guys thing. And then here's an idea: how about Luke and Kevin, you to do that Avatar thing, then me and Luke do that X-Men mutants kind of thing, so we can get into like a bit more of like a blown discussion, because then we'll just
back and forth.
My
of
camera
censoring
on if
people.
it's there.
Me and Matt could do like a
Oh,
music
yeah.
one, maybe. Some music.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, Kevin. Surely we just do like a big musical afterwards. Just like, oh yeah, this goes there, that goes there.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe albums, maybe.
Yes.
I was talking to Mikal like a week ago, and I said that we should do this, but like instead of it being a live stream, I'll just edit it and then upload it as a video
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
yeah.
to,
that
to the
would-
channel.
They might actually
Just
work out
because,
there, to be honest. Like,
But
if this
we're
isn't
going to
possible-
pretty much. Well, what I suggested to him was that him and I just rank isekai anime because it's such an oversaturated genre.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Lol.
That's a you and car project right there. Okay.
Yep.
So anyway,
But yeah,
thank
guys,
you
that-
for coming to our stream. We hope
In
you
other words,
mostly
thank you for coming to hear
2 hours of
like,
argue.
thank you for coming to hear three 17-year-old nerds argue about moms. Well, not argue, discuss in a light setting.
intellectual discussion.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Also,
Yes.
don't forget to subscribe and leave a like to like if you want more of this content. This is the first time we really
And make sure
smash
to
that
join
like
the
button.
Discord.
And join our Discord as well. You can subscribe to Kevin on his channel. What's your channel again, Kev?
No, okay.
Regnog.
Regnog. Subscribe to Regnog.
It's
You can
Eggnog with
subscribe
an
to
I.
Luke at SkyzAid. You can also subscribe to me at MetalX. Also, make sure to check out our other short films that we have on the channel. We hope that you've enjoyed this live stream, and hopefully we can do this again.
I'm glad nothing really like broke down.
What do you mean? Hopefully, of course we're gonna do it again.
Oh yeah, true.
Right, cool. Close. Thanks again, guys, once again, and we'll hope to see you in the next ranking / podcast, whichever one we do. See ya.
And
Or
until next
short
time,
film. Or short film. You never know.
Who knows? But until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always,
Alright,
stay
stay
with Pompaliwood.
Bye bye.
Later.